In this video, we're going to be using Worx Staggerin jack and the Wade and Butcher for gentleman's use razor that the stallion sent me. Stay tuned. Hey there folks, and welcome back for another video. I'm your host CDB. Thanks so much for joining me again today. I really appreciate it. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, I hope you'll consider subscribing below. So as mentioned before, today we're going to be using Staggerin jack. And this is by Worx, and I believe this was sold exclusively through the razor company, which is an awesome place to order shaving wares from. Really good customer service. This was kindly sent to me by Chris Garcia. Thank you very much, Chris. And this is a really nice scent. I'll put the scent description for you right there. Beer, cinnamon, pumpkin, nutmeg, vanilla. Now I know I have to be careful with this one because cinnamon sometimes can cause a tingling or burning sensation. So we'll be careful today and hope that the cinnamon won't irritate me, but we'll see. You never know. I know it's one of those ingredients that I can get a little tingling from, so we'll be careful. And again, there is the label, cool label, and as of the date of this shooting, this is still available at the razor company. The ingredients we'll put for you right there. We got some good ingredients in it. Cocoa butter, shea butter, jojoba, glycerin, so good stuff. This is a small 2-ounce container, which comes to you from $9.99 and on a cost chart there, that is in the pricey realm of $5 an ounce, but you know, it's a special Halloween type release, even though we're using it after Halloween. Anyway, we'll give it a go today and see how it goes. And as mentioned before, the beautiful Wade and Butcher for gentleman's use straight razor using today. And thank you very much, Stallion, for sending this. So let's get started by just misting the face. And this is just plain water and a mister. And again, the products that I'm using today, I will list below in the links below. So please check that out if you are interested. And we've got it whipped up today with our Whiskers TSE handle. That is me, traditional shaving evangelist, formerly known as. Really, really nice brush here. And let's see how we do today with our Worx, and we'll hope the cinnamon doesn't get me, but as I said before, I know sometimes that can be an irritant. And so I do have a back out plan if necessary. Some slight tingling I can put up with, although my advice for you, especially new folks, if there's any discomfort, just don't use it. Me, I've been around long enough to know what I can tolerate and what generally won't cause me a problem. And so I'll press on with it sometimes. But for you, my advice is always to make sure you get the best experience possible. And so if you get some tingling, I'm going to suggest that you just not use it and you stop what you're doing and make the adjustment. Over time, as you're more experienced, you'll just learn what your skin can and cannot tolerate. But in the beginning, you just don't know. And so there's no sense in making yourself push through something and having a very bad experience. And so let's get going with our Wade and Butcher Gentleman's Use, which is a rare and beautiful razor. Again, thank you very much, Stallion. The Stallion had a huge influence on my straight razor shaving. And probably without him, I wouldn't be doing it, most likely. You know, he and others, but he was really instrumental in me getting started and offering so many tips and encouragement. So thank you very much, Stallion. Sometimes we don't agree on every single issue, but you know, that's not really a big deal. You don't have to agree to remain friends. For example, I know he doesn't really care for the price per ounce thing on soap. You know, he looks at it sort of as a whole. So if the price, you know, for a soap is say $20 or something, doesn't really matter to him whether it's 2 ounces, 4 ounces, 6 ounces. You know, it's $20. That's the way he looks at it. I like to give you the cost per ounce so you can compare that to other soaps. Because the thing is, not everybody has a lot of money to spend on these products. So it might be more important for someone to, maybe they buy a couple of sterling soaps, for example, for the price of one other type of soap, you know. So I give this information for you all to use however you see fit. If you want to spend a lot on soaps, that's okay. If you don't, that's okay. Use whatever works best and fits your budget best. But I do like to get that price per ounce just to so everybody knows sort of what the cost is. And this one is, you know, in the $5 an ounce range, which definitely gets into where soaps start to get pricey, in my opinion. But it is a sort of a special release, so sometimes people will be willing to spend a little more on a, you know, holiday or special release, or maybe just to treat themselves, you know. But that was a very nice first pass. We didn't get any sort of tingling or anything like that so far, which is a good sign. You just never know with these soaps with cinnamon, because that is a very popular ingredient that is known to cause, or scenting oil, that is known to cause a little burning. So you definitely have to be careful with cinnamon, but I must say I had no issue there on the first pass. And so we'll press on and continue on and hopefully get a great shave today. The soap sadly is running down my handle here. I'm making a messy lather day. Speaking of which, I want to mention something. We were talking about, or the stallion was actually talking about this in his video. He's talking about backbone and how he likes Savile Row. And when people bring up Savile Row, a bunch of people always jump in and go, it's floppy, it's floppy, it's floppy. And you know, my feelings about it is, you know, the brush is there to make a lather and apply it to your face primarily. For me, it's not a scrubbing tool. Scrub in the shower. You can get one of those things designed specifically for scrubbing. But scrubbing, especially when you have a soap, like this one in particular, that has cinnamon, scrubbing that into your face is probably not a great idea. And so scrub with a brush is 100% not necessary. You may want it because you like the feel of it, but it is not a necessity for making lather. So when people say that's floppy, you cannot make a lather with it, that is just not true. You can make a lather with almost any brush, regardless of how soft it is or floppy. So backbone and scrub is really not a necessity. And I would also mention that some of your older brush makers, like just Simpson, for example, their advice for brush care has always been that you not use circular strokes and not mash the brush down. In fact, I'll show you right here. I took this right off their website and I'll link it below. The part that talks about specifically about how to use the brush. And you'll see it says use the tips and paint. Paint, not scrub or use circular motions. Now, I realize that everybody tends to make circular motions, but I'm just pointing out that the advice there from most of the companies, or at least the older ones, was paint and use the tips of the brush to paint it on, and use the tips of the brush to make the lather. If you're having to push the brush way down, it's probably not that great for your brush. And so I'm just mentioning this because oftentimes you'll hear it's floppy, it has no backbone, you can't make lather with it, and that's just patently false. Because I've had a lot of brushes that are considered floppy, and I've been able to make lather with all of them. So you may want a little more scrub in your brush. That's okay. But it's not required to make a lather. And so I agree with the stallion. For me, I want a brush to be soft and gentle on my face, because this is certainly not going to be soft and gentle on my face. So the more things that you do on your face that are harsh, like crazy scrubbing with a high backbone brush, the more chance you have for irritation and problems and discomfort and what we call brush burn. So a lot of people only became aware of that recently. Yes, you can, via lathering vigorously with a brush, cause irritation that some people call brush burn. And so just be cognizant of that. The easiest way to avoid that is not to do a lot of scrubbing. Now, if you like scrubbing and it doesn't give you a problem, then please press on. I'm not here to tell you not to do something that you enjoy, if it works for you. But particularly if you have sensitive skin, to the greatest extent possible, you want to try to avoid too much scrubbing and avoid as much as you can things that are harsh on your skin, because you're dragging the steel, whether it's a DE or even a cart. The sharp blades causing a little bit of trauma to your skin. So be as easy on your skin as you can, considering that you're dragging a sharp blade across it, So again, my advice, as much as possible, go easy on your skin, treat it nicely, use products that agree with it, and you'll probably have a good experience. But if you're spending obscene amount of time scrubbing your face with a high backbone brush, and then later you're wondering why you have irritation after the shave, it may not be your blades, it may be the brush. And actually, not necessarily the brush itself, but you causing it with all the scrubbing and, all this number, like when you're doing it just way beyond what is necessary, you can cause yourself problems. And that's why you don't see me doing it. And that's why also, for the most part, you don't see me experiencing irritation. It's because, again, it's part of experience. And so just keep that in mind, that there are folks out there with a great deal of experience that you should listen to, because they've been down the road that you're about to go down already. And so if you can learn from their experience, that is always a positive. And I learned from other people, when I first started. Sometimes you have to learn on your own, but there are plenty of people with tremendous experience who could save you a lot of grief if you will just humble yourself and listen to them. And part of it is we have sometimes bad information, that has been put out about things, or sometimes misconceptions, and sometimes you got to overcome that as well. But just keep in mind that if you're new to this, there's likely someone who's been many times where you are right now. So if you're having trouble, feel free to ask. Now, obviously, we don't all have the same skin or use case, so I can't coach you up on every single issue, but I'll tell you what I have learned, that works for me. It may or may not work for you, but one thing that is absolutely irrefutable: the less trauma you put on your skin, the better in all situations. And so please keep that in mind. That is very important. Very nice edge still on this razor. It was hung by the Stallion, and I think this is like the 7th or 8th time I've used this blade. I sort of use this blade when I'm treating myself. It's very special to me. And it is just a wonderful, wonderful blade, and it's beautiful. Again, it's something I'll treasure always. And, obviously I think of the Stallion when I use it. I think of his help and counsel in my straight razor journey. And while we disagree, I always, try to do so in a respectful way, as much as possible. We don't all necessarily agree on everything, and that's okay. No, we shouldn't have to agree on everything to remain friendly and civil. But we do agree, I'm telling you right now, on these brushes and this nonsense about you must have backbone to make a lather. That is just patently and demonstrably false. The amount of backbone that you have in a brush is just all about preference. It is not required to have a ton of backbone to get a great shave. And we're wiping off our blade here so we don't get any water spots before we get into the post. And man, what a beautiful blade and what a beautiful shave today. Again, no irritation from the soap. That's always a good thing when I use cinnamon. Let me rinse. We'll come back, get into the post. Stay tuned. All right, and here we are back with the Magic Made by Witches. This is just Thayer's Witch Hazel Cucumber, which you see here every day. Works as a toner, astringent, and I really enjoy using it. This was really a nice shave today with an incredible blade. Once again, Wade and Butcher for gentleman's use. Not many of these around, and I'm proud to have this. Thank you again, Stallion. I appreciate it very much. We used the K-Shave Worx Staggerin Jack. Again, as of the date of this recording, still available at the Razor Company. So check it out if you want to. Really nice scent. I've been really pleased with the Halloween soaps this year. Usually they're dark and dank and mildewy. And this year, a lot of them were brighter, and I think that was an excellent thing. Certainly suits me. We used the Whisker TSE brush, which was outstanding. And of course, we made the lather in the Captain's Choice bowl. We used the PAA alum with Dry Dock. I almost dropped my alum there. And it's still holding up very, very nicely. As you can see, there are no holes in the alum Marion. We're going to finish off today with the Staggerin Jack Splash that was sent to me by Chris Garcia. Thank you very much, Chris. Chris is a big supporter of the channel. I appreciate Chris very much. And so let's see how it goes. Let's just put on a little, because again, contains that cinnamon, so you never know. Oh, nice. Really nice indeed. My wife liked the scent of this one as well. So this one was thumbs up across the board here in the Bailey household. So I want to thank all of you for watching. I really appreciate it very much. As always, I've been your host, CDB, and I'm reminding you, it's your shave, do it your way. God bless.